speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too, cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment, racism and the lie, they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Over to You All. I hope that you guys are fired up. I thought that that was a fired up song there to get the program rolling this afternoon. We have a lot of work to do. With me is the honorable member of the AFC, Miss Camille Mackenzie. And Miss Mackenzie, you would have ascended to a new position that we're going to discuss that in a few minutes. But let me just go ahead and encourage all my listeners and viewers this afternoon to go ahead and share the link and like the program. Remember this, it is your program, okay? It is your investment here. So please share the link and like your program. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to do that while I'm going to give a quick shout out. Jason McDonald, don't play. My brother, you are always on time. You are always omnipresent. Neville Kissoon, welcome to Over to You. Sandra Hanover, Sandra Price, good evening. Welcome to Over to You. Audrey Brown, thank you for your support. You're always present here. Denise Beard, yes, Denise Beard. I was looking at a Linden live with Mr. Conan Marshall, amongst others, and I saw you there, my sister. A pleasant good evening to you. Hazel Johnson, always present. Good evening, Miss Johnson. Lily Gulliver, good evening. Welcome to Over to You. Hazel Johnson again, yes, I saw you. Good evening. Patricia Kisson, Winston Kilkenny, good night, my brother. Audrey Ward, welcome. Golly God, yes, my brother. Encourage everybody to share the link, like the program. Darkus John, welcome. Donna Fresno, welcome. Desiree Smart Felix, New Amsterdam in the house, welcome. Guyana #1 DJ, Mr. Keith Beresford, the real old school. Good evening to you, Mr. Beresford. Paulette Hawk Kippins, good evening. Welcome to Over to You. Welcome. Brenda Braithwaite, good evening. How are you doing, Miss Braithwaite? So True Hector, welcome. Carol Bovell, welcome. Lachman Aziz, good evening, Miss Aziz, all the way from Barbies. Miss Lachman Aziz, good evening. Continue, everybody, to support the Aziz's business. Continue to support that business venture. Miss Chandel Jerrick, a pleasant good evening to you, Miss Jerrick. I haven't seen you in a few weeks. We have to discuss that. Aileen Griffin Norton, good evening. Gavin Caesar, I was trying to get on to you, sir. Lawrence McKenzie, Kenneth Dennis, welcome. Maurice Newton, Austell Ogle, welcome. Paulette or Kippins, I called you already. Stanley Wilson, welcome. All right, everybody, I give as much as a call out as I could. Mr. Michael Carrington, the deputy chair of the AFC, is also here. So we kind of got a full house here, everybody. So please share the program. Please share the program, like the program. It is your program. Over to you. A program for the people, by the people. Welcome everyone across the Caribbean. Welcome those in Europe. And yes, many thanks to the people of Paris for hosting the Olympics. What an excellent job. Welcome to those out in the UK, out in England. I know we have a lot of supporters out of London that stays up late at night for this program. I thank you guys again. And all across Guyana, from Victoria to Belgium to BV Triumph. We keep going. Grove on the East Bank, Golden Grove, Melanie, Nomprel, Pleasance. Good evening, everyone. Miss Cox, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, Mark, and it's Miss Mackenzie.
Yes, you said Mark. It's over to you with Wayne Caesar. All right, I want you guys
You see what it's talk about, Mark? Good evening. Good evening, Wayne.
Yes. During the week is Mark Benchcop. Saturdays is over to you with Wayne Caesar. It is Wayne Caesar's program. It is the people's program. I just wanted to make that clear.
You see, if Mark wasn't doing what he did, I would have never forget. I'd have never called his name.
Right? Well, his name always has to be called. He's a CEO here, so his name is going to always be called. And I want to really thank him for all that he does.
Yeah.
Welcome, Miss Cox, and let me go ahead and Miss Mackenzie. Sorry, I have to get accustomed to Mackenzie. Let me just get over to introducing Mr. Michael Carrington, and I'm going to ask Michael to just tell my audience a bit about himself and kind of introduce himself to the audience. Again, he's the deputy chair of the AFC. Michael, go ahead. Sorry.
Hi, good night. My name is, as he said, Michael Carrington. I'm a Barbician. I'm born in the Kanji Street, Cumberland. Former regional councillor for Region 4 for the AFC, 2006 to 2011. Former member of parliament from 2015 to 2020. A shoemaker by profession. I have a business by the name of Foreman's Shoe Shop. The business exists in about 80 years. I take it over about 35 years now. Counting fairly well. It's approximately 18 years with the AFC, working ups and downs. You know, political party normally be you be out in power, then you in power, then you could be out of power, then in power again. That is politics. You rise and fall in different levels, and sometimes you stay there for a very long time. And I have great expectation in the year to come in terms of 2025. I'm looking for a win for AFC. We are actually 18 years on the block right now and speeding with a lot of speed across the country. We are doing well. People are enjoying the new executive, especially Mr. Nigel Hughes, who came on board with us. He was to be there a very long time. As a matter of fact, I used to be behind his bone in terms of telling him plain that he would make a very good presidential candidate, not myself. A lot of other people also think that he have good he's a presidential material. And he's one of the best personnel. I haven't seen anyone at the present moment with the type of quality, the type of knowledge that he have, his humbleness.
Okay, Ms. Cox, we seem to have lost Michael Deere. do you want to just chime in quick and continue down the road that Michael was going with relation to your AFC party?
Yes, as Michael was saying about introducing Nigel once more. Nigel is a great leader. We have worked tirelessly to put him there because, it was a competition with the BMC, the Better Must Come team, which was Nigel's team. And then you had No Retreat, No Surrender team, which was Sherrod Duncan. Everybody know that Sherrod was also running for leadership. And the BMC team really worked hard to put Nigel there. And we knew we arrived with the name Better Must Come because everything Nigel says, he would always end with Better Must Come. So that is what created the team Better Must Come. And we are happy. We are happy that Nigel is now our leader. We are now energized. We are ready to go. We are on the ground. We're not ready to go, but we are on the ground day after day after day. Persons might not see us physically in some places, but some of us are working the telephones, the computers, your phones, and all of that. Persons might say, well, where is the office? We have one office, that's the main office in Georgetown. But our leader said to us he wants our phones, our computers, our laptops to be our office. So our office is basically mobile. We are happy. We are happy. Yes, it was a nice competition between the two teams, and Nigel emerged the winner. It was excitement. It was craziness. Oh my God, we really enjoy our last conference.
All right, Miss Mackenzie, I'm gonna cut in here a bit because I see a comment there by Miss Hazel Johnson. If Lemon can just put that back for me, please. I see a comment there, and her comment says, "Better cannot come if citizens don't get up and get." Well, that opens up the doors here.
Yes,
Miss Mackenzie, and Mr. Carrington. This question is for both of you because this viewer is saying
just now.
That's okay, Mr. Carrington. This viewer is saying better cannot come if the citizens don't get up and get. And I ask this question to both of you, and you both can pick your answers, and you can start with Mr. Carrington, followed by Miss Mackenzie. What it is that the AFC is doing to energize the people on the ground to get up and get and understand what is happening here before their eyes, and how important it is that for them to get out there and vote, and to get out there and for their voices to be heard. Please, guys.
Yeah, well, at the present moment, we are out in the village all over the place, all over Guyana. Many of our young people and older folks have been energized the last couple of mornings since our national conference. They are very happy to have Nigel, and they decided that we have to work to change the direction of this country. At the present moment, we are a rich country, bringing in about $10 billion, $10.5 billion per day. Guyana's share at the present moment might be $1.5 billion per day when they take out the other costs and all kind of thing running of the company. So Guyana is very rich and a lot of money is coming in, but it looks like we will have to exercise people's power somewhere down the line, because the money is basically, the richness of Guyana is not really filtering down. It's basically going into the area of infrastructure development. As a matter of fact, I feel personally, they are basically hiding a lot of money into infrastructure development. I don't know if it's about $500 billion this year infrastructure development is taking. In our time, we only had a budget about approximately $400 billion before we leave government. And that money is actually triple, but yet money is not trickling down to the normal man, the man in the back down, the farmers, and those people are not receiving those even little money. They may receive a cash grant for their children, and I think one time they had share $25,000 one or two times. But for people day-to-day life, money is not trickling down. I don't know what it is. I can't understand that the budget moved from 400 billion to 1.1 billion trillion dollars, and yet you don't have that vast amount of money circulating in Guyana. So we will have to actually force their hand. They need to give more to the people. I understand that we need infrastructure development. We need hospitals, we need roads and all of those things. But Rome didn't build in a day. You cannot build everything one time to just show that you are government, you're in government and you're doing everything for the people in terms of putting up a set of roads, a set of buildings all over the place. And yet the people cannot really buy the teachers, the nurse, and those people, public servants, really can't feed their family. No way $100,000 at this point in time could really feed a family of three. A matter of fact, $100,000 might only be able to take care of an individual. But where it comes to children,
Mr. Carrington, not to cut you, we're gonna hit a bit on cost of living. I'm gonna get to that, but I have a quick follow-up for you, because you talk about hiding the money in infrastructure. Is it hiding the money, or is it that the PPP is using infrastructure as a means to corruption? Because I mean, I want you to answer what's your thoughts on that, because when you say hiding the money, I think most of the viewers would want to know, well, what do you mean by hiding the money?
All right, basically what I mean, if the money is there in the account, people will request better wages, better grants or whatever. But if the money basically spent in infrastructure projects, and there's no money and they have to borrow money, it's difficult for people to request money when money is not there. So basically what they do is push a lot of the money into infrastructure development. So when they push the money, basically the contractors get the money. And what is taking place, a lot of people who are getting the contracts are not qualified contractors. Majority of them are not qualified contractors. And what they basically do, they put aside their 20% what they need to make in profit. Put aside, because the engineer design most of the project where you may have a 15 to 20% in terms of return, in terms of profit. So if the project is $100 million, the engineer might cost $80 million to build, and the man who have the project, he make a $20 million. So what he does most of the time is take out his money, his profit, and then subcontract that contract to someone else. Now the person who end up with it, he done with the heart of the money, the cream of the money. And the other person who have the contract now struggle to have the contract finished in terms of whether it's roads, drainage, or what. They have to struggle, and they end up with having to pay the individual not much, because they also got to make a profit. So we have a serious problem. As I said before, I have no problem with the development of this country in terms of infrastructure development. But we need to take our time. We cannot spend the majority of our money in projects and then forget the human resource development. We need human resource development. We need a lot of money. People need to eat and live properly to build that energy to work. Many people in this country at the present moment, nowadays, they don't have milk in their home. They don't have certain basic food in their home in this country. And we are rich. It's not that we are poor. We are rich with a lot of resource. But the managing of our resource is a major problem all the time. And we have to find better managers some way or the other. We have to find a mechanism, put a mechanism in place that this country could manage properly. It doesn't matter who in government, but it must manage properly. But at the present moment, that is not taking place. You get in a lot of buildings, a lot of roads, but people can't feed their family.
Okay, well said. Well said. Well said. Mr. Carrington, and when you say that better management must come to the resources of Guyana, yes, that will come, I feel, with a new coalition government where you have proper checks and balances and not a single party just manipulating and managing everything, right? That's why, and there's many on this program that believe that coalition politics is the best politics. Miss Cox, Miss Mackenzie, can I get a take from you, please?
On the question of what we are doing, we are what we are calling grounding and listening. So we are going on the highways and the byways, listening to persons, grounding with them, encouraging them, you know, get them, educating them on what is going on and the value of them being out there, putting the eggs the right place and have a change of government. So what we're doing, as I said, we are grounding, we're listening, and we're educating.
Well said. So there is some measure of voter education involved there. That's about
Yes.
you, Mr. Carrington.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot of work.
a lot
of work needs to be done because somehow or the other people actually lost faith in the system.
Yes.
They lost faith. We need to find a way to build faith. Because if you have to get a country to manage properly, people have to have faith. You go into office and all these different office, the government office, and so people working there going through the motion, but somehow or the energy in terms of to coming up with proper development programs and all kind of thing to move forward is not there because they struggle to make a living. If they're working in a place and somebody coming and offer them money because things tight, they will take the money. Yeah. We need to remove that. We need to find ways. We can't have people fighting to survive to go to work the next day. Most people get paid now within the first week. They're working for a month. Within the first week after getting paid, they are broke. They are broke. They have to ask somebody. They barely have passage to run to work and back. We don't need that. We need better wages for people, better wages for public servants. And we cannot be afraid that if we pay them better, you will have inflation. You can't pay them much because you will have inflation. Tom, Dick, and Harry will raise the price for drinks and different things and food stuff. If they start raising the price, we put price control mechanism in place.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we do not allow them to exploit our people. We have people in Guyana who is like that. I remember we were government one time, we had to call in some of them and talk to them. Because when you give an 8% raise of pay, you naturally see that 20% things raised by. Now, 8,000 from 100,000, but you're taking away 20,000 from that same 100,000 from the people. And that is taking place right now. I went to buy water where I used to pay $100. Now the water is now 120. That means it's 20%.
160,
and the people do not get a 20% increase in wages.
Yeah.
So we got to deal with that. We got to deal with the exploitation of this country. We need to deal with the banking system. The bank can make billions of dollars when the year comes. We need to find a way that people must be able to survive without this big struggling at the present moment. And this has nothing to do with African alone. East Indian, Amerindian, every Guyanese who may not working for a $200,000 or $200,000 a month are struggling in all the Indian areas. I travel all over Guyana. They are struggling just like any other race. So it is not just affecting one race, it is affecting everyone. The middle class who may have a big salary coming in, those people sometimes who sign a paper and get a big check when the month comes. And the people, when you look at the person who work in the cane field, or who planting for you to get your vegetables in those hot sun when the day comes, and struggling, this should have to be stopped. We cannot be struggling from since the 80s right through now. In the 80s, we could understand Guyana was always in a deficit. Always. Even up to when the APNU, AFC was in government, I think our last budget, we had a $40 billion deficit. Guyana is always in a deficit. Guyana is no longer in a deficit with the type of money we have coming in from oil. It's hundreds of billions of dollars coming in oil. So that resources need to meet our normal citizens, not just the rich ones, not just the contractors, but our people in the marketplace, our vendors, people in the back down. We have to find a way to distribute those money that coming in. I'm not saying we must give away all the money. We must keep some money for the future generation. We must. But we can't pile all our money into infrastructure development and people are hungry in this country. We have to find a different way. We cannot do that. We need the bridges. We need the bridge. We need the roads and everything. But we could take our time. Let us take our time and let our people live. Let the children live. If children don't eat properly, it's difficult for them to study. If they don't have proper nutrition, it's difficult for them to study.
And Mr. Carrington.
So the AFC, we are the Alliance for Change. Sorry to disturb. The Alliance for Change is on a battlefield at the present moment. What is taking place, we don't want it at all. I would prefer, I personally, this is my personal view, to have what is called a national government in Guyana. To find some way where everyone could be part and parcel in this country in a national government. What will end up happening if we don't have a proper government in here? You will have this country be taken over completely by foreign investors, by foreigners, and we will become second-class citizens. You will have what is called divide and rule taking place in Guyana. And we can't go down the line. I do not want to see Guyanese being second-class citizens. We work too hard for this country. We work in the cane field. We work in the bauxite industry. We work all over to build this country. And the people of Guyana must benefit from this resource that we have. We mustn't have a bundle of people from all over the world come in and steal all the resource in Guyana, from Guyana, and the people of Guyana suffer. I am not intended to see that in this country. Even if we got to exercise people's power at a point, we will do it.
Let's take a pause there. I hear what you just said, that we cannot allow people to come into Guyana and take all of our wealth from our country.
Yeah.
You are absolutely 100% on point. But what I want to add to what you would have just said is that we have common Guyanese from the side of the PPP who is selling out the country to these investors. It's not the investors coming and taking away. No, there is Guyanese who are selling out their own people. That's why the PPPC needs to be removed from government ASAP. Hence the reason there's no correction when it comes to the PPPC. Flat out, there needs to be a new government in Guyana. The people of Guyana just don't have the time to wait for the PPP to correct themselves, which is never. The PPP means to just enrich themselves, their families, and their favorites. That's it.
That's
it.
That's so true. That's so true.
Perfectly for the external investors, because what? They do not have to make sure that the entire country is taken care of. It's just a few rich guys that they got to take care of, and they get to walk out with what they want to walk out with. Okay, Ms. Cox, you can add a little to that before I get back to Mr. Carrington.
When I've been with you on several occasions, so it's my pleasure to have my VC take the program for me tonight. I'll keep the company. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, all right. Well said. You want your accountant to face the brunt of the heat coming. That is fine.
I will assist him when it's necessary, but so far he's really representing the Guyanese people and the Alliance for Change. So go ahead, Wayne.
Well, Miss Mackenzie. Mr. Carrington, recently the leader of the AFC, Mr. Nigel Hughes, he spoke in reference of electronic banking and to make sure and talk about in the future, of course, once the coalition is in government, to make sure that Guyanese gain from the oil patrimony, either semi-annually or quarterly. He intends to make those payments. Well, one thing I agree with, first off, that all Guyanese need to have electronic banking. Okay, we are living in the 21st century. This needs to be done. All right, it mitigates corruption amongst a lot of other things, because you cannot walk around with suitcases and distribute money to people. That's corruption all the way there. We know that all the money is never going to get to the people. Okay, we know this. So I just want you to elaborate a little bit on Mr. Hughes' promise to the Guyanese people, when it comes to the oil patrimony, and they're getting a small part of that patrimony, which I totally agree with him. Go ahead, Mr. Cameron.
Yeah. I think you're looking at 10.5% of the total amount of money coming in per annum, and have that money divide and distribute equally to every adult. I notice the ex-president Jack Deal mentioned about 850,000 people you actually have to that money will distribute, and he gave a figure that I think about 35,000 or something like that. But normally 850,000, that is basically sharing. So he's basically saying that Nigel Hughes wanted to divide the money to 850,000 people. We have 850,000 people, yes, but for adults basically have to collect the money. I basically think that every Guyanese should be able to collect something from that revenue. In terms, every person who over 18 years and over, the children are collecting money from there in terms of the cash grant for the school program. You may have some programs for the elderly, but I need to see by time now and next year that the pensioners have what is called the minimum wage. I think the minimum wage is about $60,000 at present moment. And with the amount of revenue that we get in collected, I think we could pay those pensioners at least $60,000, because that will leave $60,000.
1.5 billion a day.
1.5 billion a day.
And that doesn't the declaration of gold and diamond doesn't count. Are they in there,
No. We are just talking about the oil resource here.
Right.
If we should get into all the other resources this evening, Ms. Mackenzie, we're going to be talking about a lot of corruption, because we don't even look into those other resources. And right now, there's advantage when it comes to those.
Well, let me just enlighten you. I had go through the contract a while after they had shared. It's 2% royalty and 50% profit. 2% royalty and 50% profit. That is a bit. But Guyana is also receiving a lot of it's called economic spin-off. Out of the 75% of the money that put aside, one side to run ExxonMobil, the company, a large part, or a fairly good part of that money is going into wages. You may have a 3,000 person maybe working. All of them have to come and collect wages. A lot of the wages still end up in this, in terms of spending in Guyana. I don't know if the wages are taxed. I don't know if they are collecting NIS also. But all those subsidiary companies, those truck drivers, those security guards, and all of them. So we are not just collecting the 2% royalty and the 50% profit. We are collecting a lot of other money from economic spin-off. And I average that might be around, but anything around but $300 billion. Because rice, bauxite, and other
you're talking about the carbon credits and all these type of things that you receive monies with regards.
I'm not getting you clear here.
Are you
I'm not getting him clear.
Are you talking about the carbon credits amongst other things? Okay.
I know the carbon credit, but what I know. What I know, if you look at the other sectors' revenue that coming in, like rice, sugar, bauxite, and you look at the other sectors that would coming in, and you look at the difference between that and the total revenue, you will see that a lot of other money coming in from the oil sector, but it's from a lot from the subsidiaries and those type of things. They got to put up a new building, they got to buy zinc sheet, they got to buy cement and all those type of things. I don't know if they pay VAT on it, and if they pay VAT to Gafoor or other companies, automatically those companies have to send the money to GRA. So we are not just collecting the 50% and 2% royalty, we are receiving a lot of money in the other direction. But that is the problem I have, is when you take the money now and you shelf it off in something. The problem that I had when we were creating the servant wealth, I think the wealth fund for the funds, was taking the money and put it in the bank and then using the money to buy bonds. And so, say you put it in the bank in America, you buy bonds in the bank in America, and you will get an interest, but you do not have that money to utilize for your development or to give. Your money is just hidden in a bank account, and the money is not going to the people. We need to get the people rich in Guyana, fairly rich, that the people could repair their house. A lot of people cannot repair their house. They cannot repair the car, the roads. We need far more money for the NDC. $5 million central government sent it to the NDC. That can't do nothing. A mile of road is approximately $80 million to $100 million for 1 mile of road. You are giving NDC $5 million. That can't work. That cannot manage those places. All the NDCs are in problem, all of them. You go across the only one, the richest NDC I think you have maybe is Diamond NDC. Because it's a very big area, they have a lot of fancy houses, and so they just get about $80 million, $90 million a year. But even that money cannot do for proper development. We need to find a way that when this revenue come in, whether it's VAT or whatever, if Georgetown bring in a large amount of the VAT, they must be able to get back a percentage of that money must go back to the municipality, so the municipality can do the work. All the licensing in Georgetown for all the restaurants, all the stores, all the shops, and all of those type of things, those are local government licenses. All of those money is supposed to go to the municipality. If you're living in an NDC area and you have to take out license for something in that particular area, that money must not go to GRA. That money must go to the local government authority, and then the local government authority could pay the VAT. So if the local government authority receive $100,000 inside in terms of revenue, they pay the 14% VAT to the state. So we have a big problem where the Constitution of Guyana decentralized the power of the state by creating the 10 regions and also the small units within the regions, which is the towns and the neighborhood democratic council and the village council. But those places cannot survive unless the central government also give them the necessary resource, financial resource, not a 1% or something. They have to have proper financial resource to manage. They have to employ people. You can't employ people and pay them $80,000 and $60,000 and expect them to work perfect for the whole month. It's not slavery anymore. In the slave time, they give you food to eat so you can be strong tomorrow to work again. What you are getting, the money you are getting is nearly the same thing, because the money could barely buy food for you to survive, to take care of your children. People are having it hard in this country, and said all race are feeling it. Not one race, all race are feeling it. And we need to work in a different manner. We must not tell ourselves that these people are small people and they don't work anything. If you want big money as a government and you want big salary, must expect this lower class people, or the way you call the lower people in Guyana, need the same money as you. Because if you have 3 children and you need $300,000 or $400,000, well, then a poor man with 3 children will need? Not $300,000 also, because you need $300,000 to survive. He needs $300,000 to survive too. So we have to find a way to distribute the wealth of Guyana. And I think Nigel is working on that at the present moment. We are having a lot of discussion what we will do in government. We need to fix Guyana properly, and it will take us some time. It will take us some time. We have to bring in a lot of people to help with a lot of guidance. We have a lot of Guyanese abroad. We must have 600,000 Guyanese abroad. We have educated people. Some of them will have to come back to assist in the development of this country. This country must move forward. We must not sit back. We must not be afraid of this government at all to talk up against wrong. I am saying we need a lot of projects, but we need to give our people what they deserve for them to survive. This year coming, make sure that you give them something. AFC is pushing for the people of Guyana to have financial blessings so that they can look after themselves and their family. And I decided once, I'm gonna work with the AFC. I was vexed. A lot of things may happen in the past that I was annoyed. I didn't like certain policies or whatever. But I understand how politics go. And I think the team that we have now is a very, very good team. All we need to do is unite and work together. We need to talk to the Guyanese people. Tell them to unite and work together for a better day.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened.
So my brother, I think I talked a lot.
Already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy gold.
It seems like you're having a little challenge with the internet.
Man, a monthly man, and a
Camille, you hearing me?
fortnight man.
Yeah, we're getting a little challenge with the internet.
Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%. Get your give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the program. You would have heard Mr. Carrington speak on $5 million being allocated to each NDC.
In all over the place.
If
people cannot hear, we need to charge them. The next thing, they need bins in the Georgetown. There's no bins. You walking on the road, there's no bins.
Michael.
Yeah.
Just hold on.
Yes.
Like I wanted my brother to come in here.
Like I was just saying, Michael, I feel like if you're not hearing me, I don't know if you are now. I don't know if you're hearing me now, but maybe there's something.
Yeah, I'm barely hearing you clear. I don't know why.
Yes.
Yes, I'm hearing you, but here you're not getting him clear.
Camille, you're getting me clear, right?
Yes,
Audience, am I audible? Can you guys hear me clear in the audience?
Yeah, there's a little echo.
Okay. All right. Let's move ahead. Camille, you can hear me, right? Loud and clear.
Yeah. Michael, just hold on.
Hearing you good now.
Michael, hold on. Wayne is talking.
Yes. The audience can hear me. The audience can hear me clearly, loud and clear. Thank you, Miss Lachman Aziz, Miss Gloria Wilson. Thank you. Now, you talk about $5 million being allocated to each NDC. I just wanted to take this and tie it into something. There is a certain businessman, a certain gold mining businessman out on the Essequibo coast, okay, that owes to GRA $900 million. How is that possible? How is it possible that you're allocating just $5 million to your NDC and there is a certain businessman involved in the gold industry, allegedly, not even allegedly, it is out there, it is in the news, owes $900 million to the GRE. And this individual is closely knitted to the PPPC.
When there's one businessman, but how much $1 million the government owes to city council?
Yes, specifically when we talk about GPL, GPL owes millions of dollars
to
the Georgetown City Council. Central government has taken total, and Michael would have elaborated on that earlier. Central government has taken total advantage of the NDCs and all the towns. They want Georgetown to punish so that Georgetown can look horrible. When it looks horrible, then you have the PPP supporters, the big investors coming and trying to invest in Guyana saying, hey, Georgetown is controlled by the opposition and look at the condition of the city.
Well, that's because they're not getting the money. Central government is not giving them the money to do the work.
Correct is right. Central government is stymieing the process.
Those are things, Wayne, that we are out there on the ground educating persons on. A few Fridays ago, we went round to Stabrook Market, coming up Water Street, went into the arcade and so on. And the amount of complaint and cry, it is amazing. Amazing the things that you're hearing. Yesterday, I took a walk in the market in New Amsterdam. And like 3 vendors, they were, having a gaff. And same time I stopped there to get some food. And I'm hearing they used to pay $1,500 a day stall rent. And now it's gone to $3,000 a day stall rent. Mind you, council is doing that because you have all these big business places who are not paying their taxes. So where are they going to get money from to pay the staff to clean the market, to pay the clerical staff? Where they're going to get the money? So what is happening? Instead of central government give the councils the money to do their work, that will ease off the pressure from the vendors, right? That will ease the pressure on the vendors. But because they're not getting enough, the vendors are feeling the pressure. And then that trickle down now to the buyers.
So there we go. Cost of living continue to rise.
Right. It's a chain effect. It's a chain effect. Central government is not giving the council enough. So the council now and the big business places aren't paying their taxes. So they now have to put the pressure on the vendors so that they can fill that hole. Then the vendors put it on me. And who am I putting it on? I have nobody to put it on. So I'm the person bearing the whole blunt of everything.
Ms. McKenzie, you would have ascended to a new position within the AFC. Would you like to elaborate quickly on that so that at least my listening audience is aware of your promotion?
Yes, Wayne. I am now a member of the National Executive. That's the basically the voting body of the Alliance to Change. And that's about it. I'm still a regional councillor. I'm still a regional councillor, and I'm still the regional management committee vice chair. So that's it.
Okay. Mr. Carrington, can you hear me at all?
I'm hearing you good now. I'm
Oh,
hearing
very
you
good.
good.
Very, very, very good. Okay. So, so on Thursday, the 1st of August, right? We would have celebrated emancipation across Guyana. I would like both of you, starting
Yeah.
with Mr. Carrington, to give your take on the events that was put together for emancipation. That's the first. It's a two-part question. And do you think that more should have been done for emancipation? Two-part question. Mr. Carrington, you can lead off. Mr.
Okay,
Carrington,
Renee.
Camille, you wanted to speak on it?
Yeah.
oh,
All right.
Then
Um,
definitely more needs to be done when it comes to emancipation. Um, emancipation in Guyana, it's not one ethnic group celebration. All ethnic groups you will see wearing emancipation clothes, the African outfit. All across Guyana you go, you see persons wearing their African outfit, whether they're East Indians, Amerindians, Afro-Guyanese, whatever. We all celebrate emancipation. But I don't think enough is being done for us to celebrate emancipation. It is being um, drift away from the real essence of emancipation. Now, every year you would normally recognize an African village. This year, that was not done. I stand corrected. That was not done. Now, for New Amsterdam, Borbies, Region 6, they normally have emancipation in Stanford because Stanford is one of the African villages. This year, that was not done. That was not done. They had some kind of thing at TI, the Technical Institute, with the PVP supporters. And then you had something at the Stelling Road. My thing is, why didn't the government give the money to the relevant African groups so that they could have done proper planning for us to celebrate emancipation? Instead of that, it was it turned into a political football. It turned into political. And mind you, the president came to New Amsterdam and went to TI where his people decide to keep emancipation. And where the African group had an emancipation at the Stelling Road, he did not go there. He went to TI and left for Georgetown. Now,
wow.
in the African groups at Stelling Road was waiting on him to come before they could start. And he did not turn up. And this is not a case that he was not in New Amsterdam. But he went to TI where his people is trying to keep an emancipation. Because from information received by 1 o'clock, everything was done. That's one in the afternoon. Everything was done. And did not go to the Stelling Road where the African culture groups were to even recognize them there. And we are saying one Guyana. Where is it? They have taken away money from so many African groups. Why? Why? And when you talk, persons are ready to say all kinds of things, but these are things that hurts us. These are things that hurts us. But you know what? You shouldn't say anything. Just relax and let it happen how it happened.
Yes, I have a sister here, Audrey Brown, would have posted. She said, get to the point. The PPP is dividing African Guyanese people and destroying our culture. Miss Audrey Brown, you're 100 percent on point. Now, I've gotten information with regards to the installed president of Guyana, Irfan Ali. He was in Hopetown. He was in Hopetown, and he did had the drum, the core drum of the Guyana police force present with him. There was many the marchers in Hopetown with Irfan Ali. They were all, for the most part, members of the Guyana police force. I don't know why, if individuals, including the quote-unquote president and any of his ministers, if they are doing so well for the people of Guyana, why is there a need, okay, for a marching party that is marching with them on emancipation or walking with them, whichever one they're doing, to be more so built out of members of the Guyana police force? Why so much police? Why so much protection? You don't need that much protection if you're doing right by the citizenry of your country. You don't need that. You're supposed to be able to go and mingle amongst your people. Why is it that you cannot mingle amongst your people?
When it's not even the doing right. Guyanese are Guyanese only talk. We got big mouth. We blah, 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 blah. And nothing behind it. For me, even if he just went to Hopetown and meet and greet, you don't, as you're saying, this big hula bala with protection and this police and that. For what? For what? If you're saying one Guyana, then what are you afraid of? Is it just a show to say, well, look, I'm the president and I can have all these people?
Well, Ms. Mackenzie, I don't ever like going down that one Guyana road because I don't know what's the meaning of one Guyana. I know of one people, one nation, one destiny.
But that is what the PPP is preaching, one Guyana. But show me the one Guyana. That's all I'm asking. Show me the one Guyana that you are preaching. Show me it.
Well, we know that the PPP has a tendency and a history of always contradicting themselves. Okay, they have always been a failure to the Guyanese people, and particularly their leader, Barra Jagdeo. He has failed the people so many times. He has damaged the careers of so many young Guyanese by taking away free university from them, amongst other things. And I hope that you guys in the opposition, have free university high on your agenda, because that needs to be restored ASAP within the first 6 months to a year that there is a new government. Free university needs to be made available to the people of Guyana. It is essential.
When we can only achieve that if the Guyanese people decide to do the right thing, decide to vote on issues and not on race. That is the only how we can have those things in place. But if we continue to vote on race, what is happening today will continue to happen. Will continue to happen. And echoing my leader, he says, nobody belongs to no political party. No political party owns nobody. It's your choice. You don't, no political party own Tom Jones and Sandra Oti. It's your choice. And I'm appealing to us Guyanese to vote on issues and not on race. Vote on policies and not on race. Things to be put in place will take some time. It will not happen overnight. But you have to give whichever government go back in there. When our government go back in power, give us some time to get things straightened out and you will benefit. I can promise you. Because just as how I'm asking you to vote on issues and not on race and on policies, I will be right here back with you, Wayne, to call the government out when they get into power and they're doing things that is not right by the people.
Well
I
said.
will be right here to call them out.
Well said.
So I will be there to call out my party leaders and whoever more and tell them as it is. And Michael knows me very well. When it comes to saying it, I have no sorry. Because if you're wrong, you are wrong. And I will also take this opportunity to apologize to this nation on the behalf of the AFC for whatever we have done to you, whatever we have wronged you. Please, we apologize, forgive us, and give us a second chance.
Oh,
Thank you.
that is so well said, and you know it's a very very good thing, Miss Mackenzie, and also Mr. Carrington. It's a good thing, that heartfelt apology there by Miss Mackenzie, because Mr. Hughes was also on with Mr. Mark Benchcop and did apologize to the people, and the people did deserve that apology, especially based on what would have transpired with the whole Charing Das issue. But you know what? We're not gonna give Charing Das or his name anytime
No
this
relevance.
program.
No
Yes, we will not.
relevance.
I think that
No
the AFC have
relevance.
done. I think that the AFC have done a good job of moving away from that, and I hope that they would have put, processes in place to mitigate and make sure that that does not
Never
occur
reoccur.
again.
And
Yes.
I can promise this nation that we are in process of doing those things. Give us a chance. That's all we have. We have one of the best gentlemen in this country as our leader. One of the best. And I know that your audience will agree with me that we have one of the best young men in our country as our leader.
Well, Ms. Cox, I will not say that my audience will not agree with you. They may fully agree with you, but my audience is an audience that likes to see also execution. Okay, in their books, talk is cheap. They like to see execution. They don't like to see the horse being placed before the carriage. Hence, there's always this saying, when we get back in government. Well, I want to touch on that a bit, because we would have seen what would have occurred. Wait,
Excuse me.
Mr.
Why I am saying you're saying that the nation like to see work being done. Nigeria have just become the leader like 2 months now, right?
So I'm not putting any pressure here.
We have to work with him,
Yes,
bring him up to speed with a lot of things, and we bring him up to speed. He execute. He gave us tasks that we should go out and do, and what we shouldn't do, and and we are working. We are working, Wayne. We are working. I'm certain that the Guyanese people is seeing this T-shirt all over the place. We don't have any more right now, and people are still banging. They want the better must come, Jared.
Okay. So for both Miss Mackenzie and Mr. Carrington, you guys, are working hard, And the means to the end that you guys are looking for, is to see that the AFC is a significant player as a party. You guys do not want to be known as a third party anymore.
No,
You want to
no,
be known as a
no.
party
We're
in the mix.
grown. We are grown. We are
In the mix.
18 years
Yes,
old. We are
yes.
adults.
In the
We
mix
are
with
adults.
everyone
We
else.
are no longer children. So yes, we want to be a third party. We come in with a force.
Okay. All right, that is well put. And you guys continue to do the work. I am seeing that the work is being done. But like I was saying earlier, let's not put the horse before the carriage, because we've seen the situation that would have occurred in Venezuela. And I just want to get from both of you, I just want your points quick when it comes to GCOM. Okay? Miss Rhonda Lane is a member of the PNCR, and she is usually on the ground every Tuesday with her placards, with the few people who are there and brave enough to join her, okay, to protest in front of the GCOM office. Are you guys putting any measures in place to join her, or putting together an activity to join Miss Rhonda Lane on Tuesday and have the AFC have representation in that crowd?
Wayne, it's funny that you will ask that particular question, because it's just this afternoon I was communicating with our leader concerning that, and I was also communicating with the other two persons that tell me get to Michael and let's plan this thing and let's get out there. So it's in the pipeline. It's in the pipeline. We don't want to go out there with 3 and 4 persons, or neither we don't want to go out there just Tuesday and the next Tuesday and the next Tuesday and the next Tuesday. Nobody's seeing us. When we step out there, it must be every single Tuesday. At least we have 10 persons from the AFC being there.
Mr.
So
Carrington,
we are planning this, but we want it to be planned properly. That once we start, we must be able to continue until we get some results. So yes, we are planning that.
Mr. Carrington, do you foresee yourself, even if it's once a month, getting out there on a Tuesday and getting together with Miss Rhonda Lane, to protest GCOM for a new voters list and biometrics?
We're discussing about the voters list. I'm not getting you clear.
Michael, can you hear me?
Well, what I know about it, yeah, I'm hearing you clear.
Okay, the question.
I'm hearing him not too clear.
The question is.
I'm hearing you.
The question is, what are the plans to go out with Miss Rhonda Lane on Tuesdays to protest for new voters list?
For the new voters list. I like to be very truthful. I heard the discussion come up, but we didn't get in details to have proper discussion in it to deal with it on Tuesday. But I personally think you need a proper voters list. You have a lot of person that passed away is on that list. The problem with that list have at the present moment, while Guyana may only have 850,000 people living in Guyana, you have approximately 1.4 million Guyanese. About 600,000, almost nearly, 500 or 600,000 Guyanese live abroad. And the thing is, do you take those people off the list? Guyanese have a way that when election come, a lot of them come back home to vote, whether it's our people, whether it's the PPP or whoever, APU or whatever. A lot of Guyanese come back to vote. Do we take those Guyanese who live in abroad off of the list? They could, I think the court had ruled a couple of years ago that long as you're a Guyanese, you're supposed to be on the list. So you really can't take them off the list. You could take all the dead people off the list, and you may have some duplicate where a person may have 2 or 3 ID cards and all those type. You could take them off the list. The hard work really with dealing with that election is at the polling day, at the polling station. You have to have everybody there to ensure that nobody who is dead walking in to vote. No dead man can walk in to vote like somebody else losing somebody ID card. You have to have good scrutineers. So we could clean the list, but how do we remove the Guyanese off the list who normally come back and vote? We have thousands, and when election time, they either come back for the month before or something, or some other time they come back and they wanted to participate. They may not live here, but they contribute a lot here in terms of sending back money for the family, goods and all kind of thing, food stuff, clothing and all kind of thing. And they wanted to still participate somehow or the other in the election. So while the list need to be clean, do we remove the thousands of Guyanese, which is abroad, off the list?
Well, if you ask me about those Guyanese that are abroad, somehow you gotta get a way to get them a Guyanese identification card. I don't believe that people should be allowed to vote with passports anymore. I don't think, I think that everyone should have a Guyanese identification card in order to vote. Because when you bring passports and all of these things into play, then, you're making the scrutineer's job actually much more difficult, and you're making GCOM's job also a bit more difficult. Although I feel like if the staff at GCOM has been doing absolutely nothing, they're being paid by the people to do nothing because nothing has been really going on in GCOM. Massive budgets have been passed and nothing has been put in place for proper electoral reform in Guyana, and that is something that a new government would need to address ASAP.
Yeah, you need to have proper voting lists. You need to have some system you could use your fingerprint or some kind of scanning system in terms of verifying. One of the problems you have at polling station, the lady may collect the ID card and she call a name and she put it up in the air, but you can't see the picture of that individual in the ID card. So the person who actually come in with it, she will see the picture, but the majority of people there who sit in do not really see that picture because it's small, sometimes it's a little blurry. It's not a case that you have the picture in your hand and you look at it and it passes to somebody else. It raised in the air and they say it, oh, this is Tom Jones, So I think our problem sometimes is not at the polling station. Sometimes at the polling station things run well. Is the tallying, you have some problems. The moving of boxes and so on. So the polling station that I witness, because I sit down and witness people come in and vote and ensure that the voting is done right. And some of them that I sit on, I know full well at our polling station, no skullduggery had take place. But you may have other areas where you may not have good scrutineers there, or you may not have scrutineers at all, where you will have some problems will take place. And a lot of areas, sometimes you end up without scrutineers because you might make arrangement with people for them to work, and then if they wake up in the morning and they say, Mom, you feel like going, you can't really do nothing about that. You have to end up scrambling to see if you find somebody to fill the place. So my thing is that you need to have good scrutineer where it is, at the polling station, to prevent anybody to come in with any kind of skullduggery. Your people have to be well trained. You have to take some time and train them. But I wanted to really go back because I know we're going to finish just now.
Yes,
to an area that we were talking about. Guyana have a major problem. Guyana don't have job problem. Guyana have a skill shortage problem, a big skill shortage problem. And the willingness to work also. They have thousands of people coming from different parts of the world, Venezuela especially. You may have some people from Haiti. I mean, I don't know why they don't want them. They're taking in Venezuela, but they're not taking in Asian. It make me think that it only could be racism. Because if you're taking in thousands of Venezuelans, why you're not taking in Asians? We don't have a job problem. We have a skill shortage, a big skill shortage in every single area you could think about.
Mr. Carrington,
yeah.
Mr. Carrington, can you take a pause there, because you said that Guyana has a skill shortage, and my answer to that would be the only reason Guyana has a skill shortage is because of the PPPC that would have been sitting in government for 23 years plus 4 years. That's the one and only reason that we have a skill shortage in Guyana, and that needs to be made clear. That is
totally understood.
Fail to develop the people and educate
they spending money on skill training. They have to invest far more money. Any government, our government will invest far more money in skill training across this country. You need skill in all areas, especially the big booming with the construction industry.
Michael, you can have the whole of Guyana skill train. But if you're not paying them properly, they will leave. Because you can train the nurses
well, that is
the
what
maximum. But why they're leaving is because they're not being paid properly. The teachers is the same thing.
Yeah.
You take your child, train him a welder, fabricator, whatever. But because he's not being paid properly, he will leave. So that's why we have in that brain that kind of drain. Because the skilled people are leaving to go to other countries where they can be better paid.
All right, Ms. Mackenzie and Mr. Carrington. This has been an excellent show. It's been an excellent conversation. We have now come to wrap up time. I am looking forward to having you both back. Mr. Carrington, what a debut for you. Well done. I look forward to having you back. Please do not hesitate. You have anything pertinent to AFC that needs to be announced, you can reach out to me, and you can come on to any of the programs that I'm on for, 15, 20 minutes, whatever you need to speak on matters pertaining to AFC or pertaining to Guyana from a holistic perspective. I want to thank you both for taking the time to join me this evening. Also, I want to take a moment to congratulate again the young sprinter from St. Lucia. Oh my goodness, what an excellent job she did in winning the gold medal in the women's 100 meters. I'm telling you, the 100-meter champion is in the Caribbean. That is amazing. And it's not the 100 champion not from Jamaica. Isn't that interesting? So the Caribbean continue to evolve in many ways. I also want to congratulate all the athletes from Guyana that went out to Paris to represent Guyana. Congratulations to you all. I know that the sprinter Emmanuel Archibald, he would have been eliminated, but young man, keep working hard. We don't have the greatest.
Archibald, is he related to Ronald Archibald?
I am not sure, but young people in Guyana, young sportsmen and women in Guyana, keep your heads up. We don't have the best of facilities, but hopefully in the future, there can be some improvement when it comes to facilities across Guyana.
And not having our children drowned in at the aquatic pool.
Thank you. Yes, well said, Ms. Mackenzie. Thank you both so much. Thank you both. Have a good night.
Thank you for having me on this program.
Yes, I want to thank everyone this evening for joining over to you. And, enjoy the remainder of the weekend. As you know, I always say, be careful as you commute. Drive not just for yourself, but drive for others. And I'll see all of you guys back here next week, Saturday. Enjoy, everyone. Good night.
Yeah, good night.